Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Another overcast evening here in Baltimore. A little bit of a chill in the air, but it is time for baseball. As the YES Network presents New York Yankees baseball tonight. It's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the rubber game of a three-game set from Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. The Yankees broke their 6-game losing streak last night. A great pitching performance by the veteran CC Sabathia. He gave the Yankees 7 shutout innings, but he needed some runs to help him along the way, and Brian McCann was right in the middle of it.
Yeah, Brian McCann was the man, if you will, last night for the Yankees. Came through twice for the Yankees in key situations. Base hit right here makes it a 2-0 ball game as the Yankees pick up a run. That's in the 6th inning. Then in the 8th inning, with 2 on, he comes through with a 2-run double. And that gives the Yankees an even more of a padding as they win the ball game by a score of 7-0. 3 runs batted in for Brian McCann.
Let's check out tonight's pitching matchup, brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. See what know-how can do for you. Kevin Gausman will get the start for the Orioles. And for the Yankees, it's Masahiro Tanaka. You can make the case, Kenny. He's been the Yankees' best starting pitcher this year.
Yeah, he had a pretty good outing in Boston. His last start was at Fenway Park on this trip. And he held the Red Sox in check for 6 innings. In fact, he had 5 strikeouts in the game, and he looked like he was going to win it. The Yankees eventually lost the game. Tanaka didn't get the loss. He got a no decision, and primarily because he gave up this 2-run double to Jackie Bradley Jr. that tied the score. The Red Sox would go on the win from there.
Well, last night the formula was very complete. You get some hits, you score some runs, you run around the bases, you can win a game. And that's what the Yankees did. So finally, they got an opportunity to have a victory handshake. Do they make it 2 in a row? Lineups, first pitch, baseball next on YES. On Yes is brought to you in part by the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands is a world away, but less than 4 hours from New York. Go to visitCaymanIslands.com. By People's United Bank NA. Tap your mobile phone, check your balance with Touch ID. And by McDonald's. In the city that never sleeps, it's always time for breakfast at McDonald's. Ken Singleton, part of the Orioles Hall of Fame and the Yes Network Hall of Fame as well, as Ken joins me here in the booth for Yankees-Orioles, the rubber game of this 3-game set.
Well, I didn't know they were going to do that. That guy looked very, very young.
And handsome, just like now. So the Orioles have taken the field. Let's take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented by our good friends at Lexus. Jacoby Ellsbury in center field will lead off, batting second and playing second. Starlin Castro. Brian McCann will catch. He'll bat third. On the road so far this year, 11 for 33, a home run, 4 ribbies. Cleaning up, first baseman Mark Teixeira. Carlos Beltran, the DH, bats fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field today, Dustin Ackley. Aaron Hicks in left field will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Didi Gregorius. And Ronald Torreyes gets started third base as Chase Headley will take a seat on the bench. Torreyes will bat ninth.
There's the 25-year-old right-hander Kevin Gausman, 2-1 in his career against the New York Yankees. He's only had 2 starts this season. We'll get into that a little bit as we go along here. But 2.45 ERA, 10 strikeouts in 11 innings. And let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He was a first-round draft pick back in 2012 out of Louisiana State University. Last year he had first-inning problems. He gave up 5 home runs in the first inning last year. And this year he's had a shoulder issue. That set him back in spring training. Got a cortisone shot, rehabbed it. Now he's back pitching in the majors. And he's had just the 2 starts thus far.
Why don't we check out the defense, which is going to be behind Gausman, and it's presented by Geico. In the outfield, you've got Kim, Jones, and Trumbo. That's left to right. In the infield, third to first, Flaherty, Machado, Scope, and Davis. And the switch-hitting catcher, Matt Wieters, behind the plate. Kevin Gausman is on the mound.
So Kim Jones is out in the outfield, huh?
Haven't said Kim's name in a while. So the Yankees would like to end what has been a tough road trip for them with a win tonight. That would give them a series victory heading into a very long homestand against 3 pretty good teams. So one game can make a difference and change the way you look at the road trip. They lost 2 out of 3 in Texas. They got swept by the Red Sox and now trying to take 2 out of 3 from the O's. Gausman's ready. Ellsbury is ready. And let's do it here in Baltimore. First pitch is a strike. And we're underway. David Rackley is the home plate umpire. The crew chief, Larry Vanover at first. Alfonso Marquez at second. And Chris Guccione is the third base ump. Ellsbury 9 for 30 on this road trip for the Yankees.
Yeah, he's really started to heat up over the last 13 games, hitting at a 327 clip. And last night, he had a big night. He was on base 5 times. And Michael, I don't know if you see the trend that I'm seeing now. Some of the Yankee hitters are starting to heat up a little bit, including Ellsbury. We saw McCann with a good night last night. A little better contact.
High pop up. Machado in shallow center puts it away. 1 away. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's 55 degrees. The humidity is 71%. Not much wind. And there's a chance of showers and overcast skies. Now, we've lucked out because the forecast was pretty dire for all 3 games. Got the first 2 in without a problem whatsoever. And hopefully on Cinco de Mayo, we will get this one in as well. Here's Starlin Castro, also 9 for 30 on this road trip, and he'll take a strike. 25 years old, as Kenny mentioned, first rounder out of LSU. Kevin Gausman. Grounded foul. And he was the 4th pick in the first round. The first pick that year, Carlos Correa. We know he's turned into a great player. Byron Buxton of the Twins, still high hopes for him. And the catcher Mike Zunino got selected by Seattle and certainly did not pan out.
Well, Gausman, the Orioles are hoping that he can blossom into a #1 starter in their rotation. He does have the stuff. He's got a good splitter that he uses as a changeup. Decent breaking ball, but his fastball has plenty of pop.
The 0-2. Grounded up the middle. Machado is there. 2 away.
Made a point last night, Michael, and I think Castro just proved it to me right there. Seems like every Yankee who's going down the first base line, they're running like it's going to be their last time running down to first base. They've been hustling down the line in this series. Putting the pressure on. Thrown out by a step.
There's a strike to McCann. Bryant 6 hits and 22 at bats on the road trip. This is the 9th game of the road trip.
6 hits in how many?
And 22 at bats.
Yeah, but he's got 3 of them in the last 7. So this is what I mean. The hitters might be starting to come out of it.
Swing and a miss. A strong first inning for Kevin Gausman as the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3. The Yankees nothing, and the Baltimore Orioles coming to bat. We're going to take a look now at the Orioles starting lineup. Manny Machado moves up to the leadoff position. He's playing shortstop, batting second and playing center, Adam Jones. Chris Davis at first base will hit third. Mark Trumbo's in right field, and he's going to clean up, and he's been cleaning up at home so far this year. 3 homers and 5 ribbies, a .340 average in 14 games. Matt Wieters will catch. He's going to bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing left field, Hyun-Soo Kim. Jonathan Scope, the second baseman, bats seventh. Batting eighth and DHing Pedro Alvarez. Ryan Flaherty at third base is going to bat ninth.
There's Masahiro Tanaka, who in his career against Baltimore is 1-1. And you can see with his ERA, he's been doing some pretty good pitching, less than a hit per inning. 28 strikeouts and 31 on third. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He's had 3 straight quality starts. As Michael said in our open, he's been the Yankees' best pitcher. This is his first ever start at Camden Yards. Every other time he's faced the Orioles, it's been in Yankee Stadium. And he has really done a job on the right-handed batters. They're only hitting 170 against him.
Well, let's see if he can build on the start that CeCe gave them last night. And here is Machado. Swing and a miss. Manny 11 hits and 24 at bats in his last 6 games, so he has a 6-game hitting streak. Off to a fine start, 355, 7 homers, 16 ribbies. A 23-year-old third baseman now playing short because of the injury to J.J. Hardy.
We saw last night with CeCe a lot of swings and misses on the off-speed pitches, and certainly Tanaka has a better fastball than CeCe, but he also has the slow off-speed stuff. There's Sabathia, 7 shutout innings last night for the Yankees. And one thing that Tanaka has, he has a high percentage of swings and misses on his pitches, one of the best in the league. And they might play into the hands, his hands, because the Orioles are such an aggressive swinging ball club. They're up there swinging the bats. So if that splitter's working and working well, he'll get a few swings and misses.
The 0-2. 1-2 on Machado. And the pitch. A lot of Oriole people were impressed that Sabathia, who doesn't have the stuff that he used to have, but really pitched very well yesterday, was able to shut down a very potent offense.
I was talking to Larry Rothschild, the Yankee pitching coach, before the game about Sabathia's outing, and his changeup, as we mentioned last night, was just a wonderful pitch for him last night, and I think that it was fading away like a screwball. It's one of the best changeups we've seen all year.
Hitter's ballpark and a very good lineup. So that's an impressive 7 shutout innings. And the 3-2. Driven out to center field. Ellsbury drifts toward right center. He'll put it away for the first out. Let's take a look at the Yankees defense presented by Geico. We've seen Ellsbury in center, so who's flanking him? In left field, it's Aaron Hicks. In right field, it's Dustin Ackley. In the infield, Torreyes, Gregorius, Castro, and Teixeira third to first. McCann behind the plate. Tanaka is on the mound.
No Brett Gardner tonight, at least for now. He was hit by a pitch last night, and he is day to day.
Meredith Morakovitz has a little bit more on Brett Gardner.
Well, Michael, not in the lineup, but pretty optimistic overall is Brett Gardner. He said he was going to hit in the cage earlier today, see how that felt just swinging the bat, but he thinks at the very least he can be an option as a pinch runner. Joe Girardi seemed like he wanted to err on the side of caution, maybe give him the full day, but Gardner expects to be in that lineup tomorrow.
Good news, he sounded a little concerned, so did Girardi yesterday. They wonder after an evening how it's going to feel when you wake up, and obviously better than they thought. Grounded to third, backhanded by Torreyes. A long throw in the dirt, scooped up on the backhand by Teixeira for the second out. Let's take a look at the injury report brought to you by Montefiore, doing more state-of-the-art healthcare. And Brett is the subject of our report, hitting .247 so far, 2 homers, 6 ribbies. He scored 12 runs, stolen 3, and as Meredith and Kenny just told you, sore elbow, but he is day-to-day, so they expect him tomorrow. Nice play by Torreyes, who shifts over to the right side as the Yankees put 3 infielders on that side against Chris Davis. Davis 0 for his last 8. And a strike to the left-handed slugger.
Both now Jones is 0 for 8 in the series, and Davis is 0 for 7 with 3 strikeouts. He was out here earlier taking the early batting practice for the Orioles, took their regular swings.
Well, he's a streak guy. I mean, he could strike out a lot, and then he could just get into a home run tear, and that's how he gets 40, 50 home runs a year. He mixes them in with about 200 strikeouts.
Now David Cohn says this is where you get a chance to work a hitter over. No balls and 2 strikes, and see what the Tanaka features.
Outfield straightaway for Davis, who has power to left field as well, but he pulls the ball on the ground. Only Gregorius on the left side. The 1-2. Still 1-2. The 1-2. Grounded to Castro. And a nice tidy 1-2-3 inning for Tanaka. So both teams go down in order in the first, which means we go to the second without a score. Brought to you by Toyota. RAV4 Hybrid is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. What do you think was the biggest key for CC Sabathia on Wednesday, and why? Ali O'Malley, 0-2, said CC's changeup was devastating, enough to keep hitters off balance and always guessing at the plate. You are correct, Ali O'Malley. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees RAV4 Hybrid to keep the conversation going.
You know, I think I've mentioned over the years that if I were teaching a youngster how to pitch before he ever learned how to throw a breaking ball, teach him how to throw a changeup.
There's Mark Teixeira. Swings at the first pitch and hits a fly ball fairly deep center, but Adam Jones has plenty of room and puts it away. One pitch, one out here in the second.
Yeah, that goes down as they just missed it. Teixeira is now 1 for 6 in the series, but he does have 4 base on balls. That one he really went out and got, hit it straight away center. I think maybe just a little off the end of the bat, and that's why it didn't carry a little bit further towards the bleachers.
One and one.
You saw the movement on that fastball. Just although it was right down the middle, it just a little explosive at the end. One thing they've done with Gausman, they've moved him to the middle of the rubber. So he's kind of facing straight on with home plate. Sometimes the pitchers like to work on either end to give themselves a little bit of better angle to one corner or the other, but he's right in the middle.
Rubber is 22 inches wide. So he's smack dab in the middle. And the plate is 17 inches wide.
I knew about home play, but I had no concerns with what the pitchers were doing.
You didn't care, did you?
No, just throw the ball.
Fly ball, shallow left. Kim puts it away.
So first look at Hyun-Soo Kim, and he's got an unusual glove out there.
Did not have a great spring training, and they tried to send him down to the minors, and he said, no. You're not allowed to do that with my contract. So he's kind of on this team, but he's gotten off to a good start. So that's kind of smoothed things over just a little bit, but he refused to get sent down to the minor leagues.
It was, you said he couldn't go without his permission, and he didn't grant his permission. The Orioles wanted to send him out, but he's got more hits now than he had all the spring training.
Count 1-1 on Ackley.
I think he started the spring something like 0 for 17 or something like that. You know, Gausman's delivery kind of reminds you of Chris Tillman's delivery, who pitched for the Orioles in the opening game of the series and pitched pretty well. Gausman does not have the off-speed stuff that Tillman does, and in that regard, it's a little harder for him to keep hitters off balance.
Popped up shallow right center. Adam Jones calls everybody off and makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order on 3 fly balls. And we go to the bottom of the second. Nothing on Yes. For Yankee Stadium tradition, it's cap night, but with a twist. All guests in attendance are going to receive a special green Yankees cap, courtesy of the Robin Hood Foundation. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849.
Yankee fans in attendance, hoping to see the Yankees take 2 out of 3. Here at Camden Yards, the chilly Camden Yards. They said the weather's been like this every single home game.
Trumbo takes a strike as we start at the bottom of the second.
And I've been told that every time the Orioles go on the road, the weather's nice. Trumbo's working on a 4-game hitting streak. Of course, he was a big hitter in the opening game of this series, a couple of homers.
One and two. Swing and a miss. Trumbo down on strikes.
Good slider by Tanaka. We were talking about the ability to make it look like a strike, and then it's not. Breaks right off the corner. Trumbo tries to track it. He thinks it's going to be on the corner, but it ended up a good 6 inches off the plate, and he couldn't reach it. Strikeout number 1 for Tanaka. The illusion of a strike.
Here's Matt Wieters, 2 for his last 11. And that one is lined in the left center field. It's a base hit for Wieters. First base runner of the game for either team.
Wieters out of the Georgia Tech, 2-time first-team All-American catcher and closer. He used to close the games, and they've only had 2 other first-team All-Americans that achieved that goal twice. One was Nomar Garcia-Parra, and the other was Jason Varitek. Now, Mark Teixeira also went to Georgia Tech. Was an All-American, but he was injured 1 year and lost a chance of being an All-American again.
Hyun-Soo Kim shows bunt, takes outside. Kim 9 for 15 so far with a double and 1 ribby.
Well, in Korea, he was a star player. 10 years, hit .318, on base percentage over 40%.
Rolls over on that one, a ground ball. There's one and no return. So Torreyes fielded the grounder and got it to Gregorius, so it's a 5-6 force.
You know, Kim with the first name Hyun-Soo Kim. Hun is like a local term of endearment. I think I've told you this, Michael. Whenever you walk into a restaurant and waitress doesn't even have to know you, she'll say, "What do you want, Hun?" And so he kind of fits in the Baltimore area.
He could be a fan favorite.
Exactly. Hey, Hun, how you been?
There's Jonathan Scope.
Well, we mentioned Tanaka's swing and miss rate. There's only one other pitcher in the league, starting pitcher, who has a higher percentage of ground balls, outs. And that's Aaron Sanchez of Toronto. 59% of the balls hit against Tanaka are on the ground.
Swing and a miss, 0-2.
So that's a good combination. Swing and miss and ground ball.
Kim's on first, 2 men out. 0-2 count on Jonathan Scope. Right back to Tanaka. And that'll do it here in the second. No runs a hit. And 1 man left on base. We go to the 3rd inning. Nothing on yes. Inning here in Baltimore, and the Orioles and the Yankees, nothing. For the Yankees, it's going to be the bottom 3rd of the order, still looking for their first base runner. It's Hicks, Gregorius, and Torres. Hicks is hitless in 8 at-bats on this road trip. Shows bunt, takes low. He's a switch hitter. His strong side is from the right side, but he's going to see a lot of action with Alex Rodriguez on the disabled list. And Beltran will see a lot of DH. He has 2 hits in 30 at-bats. 1-1. Now Gosman's ready to pitch. He's standing there on the rubber.
Yeah.
And Hicks is stepping out. Now on foul balls you could step out. But certainly taking his time, and you can see Gosman's just waiting. Chop up the middle and knocked down there by Scope, but it's a base hit for Hicks.
It appeared to me that Scope was trying to flip that to Manny Machado so Manny could make the throw to first base. I don't think they would have gotten Hicks anyway. He runs pretty well. But trying an acrobatic move here. And he's trying to flip it to Machado. You can see Manny passing to his left. And these two might get to work together a lot more than in the future, because J.J. Hardy's going to be out for a while with a broken foot.
So a much needed hit for Hicks. And Gregorius with a bunt right back to the mound. He fires to second. They get the force. That's all they'll get. Bunted right back to the pitcher a little bit too hard.
Well, this wasn't a sacrifice attempt. This was a attempt for a base hit, and it's right back to the mound. And Hicks is forced at second base. Yeah, he's butting for a base hit. And it was right back to Gausman. Not well placed.
There's Ronald Torreyes off to a good start. 9 hits and 24 at bats, hitting .375.
And Torreyes has had 10 at bats on this road trip. He's had 3 hits.
There's a strike, 1-1.
Torreyes, of course, brings versatility to the Yankee lineup. He can play 3 infield positions. We see him in the outfield for a little bit, and he plays all of them well. I think if you're going to be a bench player for Joe Girardi, you have to be able to play defense. He's got to be able to put you anywhere on the field, and you'll do a very credible job.
Now, Gausman has a strange nickname. His nickname is Duncan. And the reason for that is, between every half inning when he comes off the mound, he eats 3 powdered donut holes.
Oh, I thought it had something to do with basketball.
No, that's nothing to do with Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
Kenny, if I did that between every half inning, I'd be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade on a rope.
Yeah, me and you both. Well, you just have to work out harder, that's all.
A lot harder.
Everybody likes a good donut now and then.
Grounded foul.
I don't know if I'm going for the powdered ones, but
he pitches a complete game, Kenny. We're talking about 27 donut holes.
yeah, he's going to have to get his running in after the game. Remember Jeremy Guthrie, who used to ride a bike back and forth to the ballpark.
Really?
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Torreyes down on strikes. Joe Girardi spoke before the game about Ronald Torreyes.
But I've said all along that we like him. We like what he does. I like his versatility. I would not be afraid to put him in the outfield. I think he gives you good at-bats. I think you can play him anywhere in the infield. But, you know, time will tell, you know, as you get around the league. But I think the young man's got talent.
And he's starting at third base tonight. So we go to the top of the lineup again, and Jacoby Ellsbury with Gregorius at first and 2 outs. Yankees have a new player, in case you missed it. Ben Gamel has been called up. And he was hitting .286 at AAA Scranton with an on-base percentage of .346, 7 stolen bases, 2 caught stealing, a home run and 9 runs batted in. Right back to Gausman. Underhands it to Davis, and that'll do it. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. So Gausman has pitched 3 shutout innings against the Yankees. We're waiting for him to load up on the donuts, but he might do that down the runway. That could be the donut stop. Pedro Alvarez against Masahiro Tanaka in the bottom of the 3rd. 0-0. And a strike.
A few years back, 2013 to be exact, Alvarez tied with Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks for the National League lead in home runs. Hit 36 for the Pirates that year. And you had mentioned he went to school in the Bronx. Horace Mann.
That's a big-time school.
Yeah, well, not too far from Fordham, another big-time school.
Not too far from Bronx Science.
Or the Botanical Gardens.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there. It's right next to Fordham, isn't it?
Horace Mann, not quite.
No, I'm talking about Fordham and the Gardens.
Right across the street.
Well, did you ever have a chance to go and walk through the gardens?
No. I've been there, but not when I was at Fordham. I wasn't too interested in flowers when I was
yeah, I can imagine.
20. Now, though, I want to just smell the roses. 1-2. Didi makes the play for the first out.
I've been to the Botanical Gardens. Suzanne and I went there. Mike Margolis, who works the Yankees front office, he was kind enough to give us a little tour there. It was very nice.
Now, if you're going to go to the Botanical Gardens, you have to go to the Bronx Zoo, too, which is right across the street from that.
Yeah, but this was in the wintertime. And I figure all the animals are inside, if they were smart.
Here's Ryan Flaherty. Ground ball, right side, through for a base hit. They had him shifted, but he found a hole and picks up a single.
There's a shift, but looks like the 7-10 split right there. And he gets it right through the hole and in the right center for the base hit. Flaherty with his 2nd hit in this series. Good stop by McCann. Keep Flaherty at first base. That's that splitter in the dirt. So far, Tanaka hasn't really gotten it close enough to the strike zone to get these Orioles to bite on it.
Machado with a fly ball to center. That was in the first. 1-1 count. 1 man out. Runner on first. Line into right field. Ackley makes the play to retire Machado as Flaherty gets back to first.
Yeah, Machado has been, as Michael told you, one of the red-hot hitters in this league, and that's twice in this series he's lined out to an outfielder. Last night it was to Ellsbury in center. He's hitting the ball hard to all fields. The pitch was up a little bit. He starched it, but Ackley's able to stay with it and make the play. Machado, his last 6 games, 5 of them have been multi-hit games. You can see Tanaka's hoping that ball is find some leather, and it does. Looks like he's also not happy with the pitch he made.
Here's Adam Jones. Swing and a miss. Big cut.
You can see the numbers not anywhere where Jones would want them to be. Of course, he's not alone. Early in the season, a lot of hitters around the league are struggling, trying to get back to their normal numbers.
Rip foul.
So Tanaka in the driver's seat with this at bat.
One and two. Flaherty held on first by Teixeira. 0-0. Yankees in the O's, bottom of the third. Pitch. Grounded left side. Grabbed there by Gregorius. Long throw to first. Not in time. Oh, that would have been dandy. But he just missed getting Adam Jones. Not too many shortstops make that close.
Well, you see where Gregorius ended up after this play, and you can see that Jones did beat him by about a half a step. The one hop throw to Teixeira with the stretch. Foot on bag, ball not in glove. Close though. We see it on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Not quite into the back of the glove. That would have been a heck of a play.
So first and second, 2 outs, and here's Chris Davis. Gregorius almost behind second base. We're playing on the second base side of the bag. Only Torreyes is on the left side. Tonight's cold hard facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Most home runs since 2013. Chris Davis is on top of the list, 133. Followed by Nelson Cruz, Edwin Encarnacion, and the rest. But Davis has a hearty 17 home run lead. Grounded out to second. That was in the first. Count 0-1.
Now, one thing Davis was doing during his early batting practice, maybe this makes him follow the ball a little bit better. He was hitting a lot of balls to the opposite field.
Grounded to first, just missed hitting the bag. Teixeira flips to Tanaka, and Tanaka works out of trouble. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. Go to the fourth. 0-0. greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Daniel Murphy, what a start in his career with the Nationals, .398. And that leads the major leagues for batting average. Thank goodness Neil Walker's having a good start, or people would be going nuts. Chicago White Sox 19-9. That's the best record in the American League. The Yankees will see them on the coming homestand. And Nolan Arenado of the Rockies, 11 home runs. That leads Major League Baseball.
Arenado's a heck of a ball player. Great third baseman, too. Woo.
A rocket line drive down the left field line by Castro. He rounds first. He's heading to second. And he has himself a leadoff double.
Castro jumps on the first pitch of the inning here in the fourth and rocketed over the head of Flaherty. Not much chance for the Orioles third baseman. Kim is going to come into your picture here.
Outing scoreboard, 0-0.
Castro's 6th double of the year.
McCann hits a high fly ball to center. Tagging is Castro. Jones has a good arm. Makes the catch. Here's the throw. Here's the play. Castro's in there. There's no gimme with Adam Jones in center.
No. See, there's the excitement we thought we were going to get last night on the sacrifice fly that scored Ellsbury. And Jones kind of fumbled the ball and couldn't make the throw. But this time he does. The throw is a little bit to the left field side of third base. And you can see Castro go straight in and beats the tag of Flaherty. Once again, we're going to get a yes mode look. That's twice within a matter of minutes. That could be a record. And you can see that Castro is in there. So he's at third with one out. Close, but he's in there. He called himself safe.
So that's going to bring up Teixeira, and the Orioles will let the run score. Now they're quasi in on the corners, but the shortstop and second baseman are back. No shift for Teixeira with a runner on third.
I'll tell you what, though, Scope and Machado have strong arms. So if the ball is hit hard in their direction, they might think about a play at the plate. And Scope is not as deep as he normally would be with Teixeira at the plate. And Machado, the shift is not on. And usually you see that when Teixeira's up.
Grounded to Davis. They don't go. Castro stays at third. 2 away. Well, they learned their lesson from yesterday when Ellsbury went on the ground ball to Davis and he gunned him out.
Sharply hit. Davis checks Castro at third, steps on the bag for out number 2, and that's going to leave it up to Carlos Beltran.
In the fourth inning, 0-0. Yankees with 2 hits, the Orioles with 3. Gausman sets at the belt and deals to Beltran. A strike on the outside corner. .2 on the Yankee switch hitter.
Beltran had a double in last night's game, and with that double he passed Babe Ruth on the all-time doubles list, one more than Babe, and just ahead of him by 2 is Jimmy Rollins. Rollins has a chance to increase. Babe's not going to catch him, but Rollins has a chance to increase his lead. He's still playing. Anytime you pass Babe Ruth in anything, that's
pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Brand name.
Maybe the brand name as far as baseball is concerned.
The 1-2. Still 1-2. Both pitchers look on their games tonight. Sabathia yesterday, 7 shutout innings. And it was a combined shutout for the Yankees, with the bullpen throwing up zeros as well. Joe's angry at something.
We saw home plate umpire David Rackley take his mask off. And now Joe's getting into it with Chris Guccione, the third base umpire.
Long run for Kim. He can't get there.
I don't know if it has something to do with Gausman's delivery. Now he and Guccione are still Joe's still is he at the far end of the day? He's still there. Maybe he felt he missed a balk.
One, two. Popped up. Middle of the diamond. Davis with the biggest glove puts it away for the final out. So a leadoff double is wasted. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. We're going to break. You can see that Chris Guccione tossed Girardi out, and then Girardi certainly got his money's worth. This is right as we were going to commercial, and Guccione throws him out, and it was obviously about what Girardi thought was a balk by Gausman. You can see he's talking about the pitcher and coming to a set, and this went on for the entire between innings period, so about 2 minutes, and Joe has been ejected from the game.
Well, he got his money's worth.
Trumbo with a ground ball to Torres. Nice play, and across the diamond, 1 away.
And the reason I say he got his money's worth, because as he was walking off the field going to the dugout, he turned around, came back out again. Yep, there's the Girardi being tossed out.
Now he walks away, and I don't know if he said something. Guccione said something because Joe wanted more. You don't see managers do this anymore, because with replay, there's very little to argue about. You can't argue with the umpires in New York. Wieters shows bunt and takes a strike. He's single in the 2nd inning.
Oh, I used to see some classics. Weaver used to stay out there for 10 minutes and argue. Throw his cap, kick dirt on the umpire. call him all kinds of names.
Same sort of hit as he had in the second inning. Serves it to left field, a base hit for Wieters.
I remember one day I was DHing and Earl came in after arguing. He was all out of breath and he said, "I can't stay out there as long as I used to." I didn't want to laugh out loud, but I thought it was kind of funny.
So Wieters is on first with one out. Here's Hyun-Soo Kim. Weeks on a 5-6 fielder's choice. Actually pulled the ball to Reyes. See the outie scoreboard, 0-0. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Yankees scratching for every run, so when Girardi thought that he saw a balk, it would have given the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Guccione let him have his save for a while. He was barking from the outfield side of the dugout for a bit, and then finally he tossed him. And Joe is not a magic word guy, so it just must have been sheer volume that got to Guccione.
Well, of course, nowadays they're trying to move the games along, so they don't let you stay out there as long as they used to. They,
(3-0) on Kim. There's a strike. Yankees go home after this game, and they'll start a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Try to get some revenge after being swept at Fenway last weekend. Served the other way, foul, 3-2, and then the Royals come to town, and then the White Sox.
yeah, it's 3 teams that are performing well in the early going. What we say, White Sox best record in the American League, right? Getting some great pitching, led by Chris Sale.
(3-2), and Kim works a walk, putting runners on first and second with 1 out.
Yeah, one thing that appealed to the Orioles when they signed Kim, they looked at his record over in Korea. He's a career .318 hitter, but he also had a good on-base percentage.
Here's Scope, grounded back to the mound in the second. Second time the O's have had a runner in scoring position. They had it in the third as well, but Davis grounded out to Teixeira. Grounded to Torres. There's one. On the first, it's a double play. A 5-4-3 around the horn, inning-ending double play. We go to the 5th, 0-0. 0-0 here as Gosman and Tanaka hooked up in a pitcher's duel. It'll be Ackley, Hicks, and Gregorius here in the 5th. On the Cadillac scoreboard, 0-0. They shift for Ackley, 3 infielders on the right side. And the pitch is low, 1-0.
You know, watching Ackley these last few months with the Yankees, good high ball hitter.
Ground ball right side. And Scope makes the play, scored a 4-3, 1 away. Here's Aaron Hicks. Picked up a single up the middle in the 3rd inning. And the 1-0. Strike, 1-1.
Well, with that hit, Hicks, if he can get another one pretty quickly here, can get his average up onto the interstates. Right now, he's below 100. Oh, 97. You don't even want to look up at the scoreboard.
Driven out to center field. Jones is there for the 2nd out. There's A-Rod on the DL. Chase Headley with the night off. Tough time for A-Rod to go on the 15-day DL because it means you miss 15 games because the Yankees don't have an off day. They're in the middle of a stretch where they play 20 straight games. This is the 3rd of those 20 straight. Gregorius waves to that pitch, 0-1.
And that went up to 96 miles an hour. When Gosman was originally injured, it was spring training. I remember we were going down to Sarasota. It was a yes game, and we were playing the Orioles. And talking to Buck Showalter, and of course, when one of your pitchers goes down with a shoulder injury, he was quite concerned. Didn't really have a timetable when Gosman was going to come back. Well, they diagnosed it as tendonitis. He got a shot in the shoulder, cortisone, and he's worked his way back.
A 1-2. Grounded to first. Davis will take it himself. And the Yankees go down in order 1-2-3 here in the 5th. We're halfway through. 0-0. Lance, if you can't watch the games on TV, you can now stream them live on your mobile device. If you're a DirecTV, Optimum, or Time Warner cable subscriber, just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, and stream the Yankees wherever you go. 0-0 as you go to the bottom of the 5th. Pedro Alvarez leads off.
Tanaka borrowing a page out of CC Sabathia's book last inning. The double play helps CC quite often. As we look at our Cadillac scoreboard, no score here in Baltimore. CC had 3 double plays turned behind him last night.
Strike to Alvarez.
You see what just happened here? Called strike and he walked out of the box. Now you're not supposed to do that.
Yep.
There's the call strike. He didn't agree with the call. It was a two-seamer that came back over the inside corner. McCann did a good job of framing it, and Alvarez walks out of the box. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, the speed-up rules are not working this year because the games, I think they're averaging a tick more than they did last year.
You know, some habits are hard to break. A lot of hitters will walk out, but you're supposed to keep at least 1 foot in there.
Well, we told you during the weekend what David Ortiz said. He said, I'm stepping out whenever I want. They can find me as much as they want. I don't care if I go broke. I'm not changing the way I go about my at-bat.
And this is the last year they're going to get a chance to find him.
Yep. Three-two. Swing and a tip into the glove of McCann. 1 away.
Strikeout number 2 for Tanaka. Remember we mentioned his swing and miss pitches. This is a splitter. Foul tip by Alvarez. Just got a piece of it. McCann holds on. Swing and miss pitches.
Here's Ryan Flaherty, who singled through the shift. A ground ball between Gregorius and Castro. And a strike to the Baltimore third baseman. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch. Up and in, 1-2. Orioles have left 4 runners on base against Tanaka. The Yankees 2 against Gosby.
Yeah, I think the Orioles were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position last night. That's where the double plays. Oh, where was that? That's where the double plays helped to Sabathia last night. Yeah, maybe a little in. Did he catch the front part of the plate? No, it didn't.
Caught the front part of the batter's box. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout for Tanaka.
You know, here's where the pitch before coming in influences the next one, because this one's going the other way. It's sort of the scissor effect. 1 in, 1 out. Well, I should say 1 in, 2 outs. Good pitch from Tanaka.
Back to the top of the lineup, and Manny Machado, who's hit a fly ball to center and a fly ball to right.
Yeah, Machado's the only Oriole hitter to get the ball to the outfield.
Yankees are being managed by their bench coach, Rob Thompson. Joe Girardi has been ejected from the game, so Robbie is the guy who would remove a pitcher. Maybe he'd let Larry Rothschild do that. Now, Joe's not that far from the dugout in case he wants to get a pitcher taken out, but pitch to pitch, calling pitch outs and things like that, Thompson would handle that. Joe wouldn't be able to get that information to them that quickly. And all the coaches have responsibilities. I believe Tony Pena is the one who calls the pitch outs, and Rob's the guy that would put on a play, a bunt, hit and run. Take sign, the 1-1. Squibb the other way to Sheriff Fields. A little step on the bag, and a 1-2-3 inning for Tanaka. Well, we've gone 5. Still looking for a run at Camden Yards. 0-0. Masahiro Tanaka and Kevin Gausman trading zeros. Tanaka's given up 4 hits. Gausman's given up 2. Neither has given up a run, most importantly, as we head to the 6th. Ronald Torreyes will lead off. He struck out his first time up. Now, if you're Torreyes, you have to look at this as an opportunity. So if he has a great game today, I mean, what would stop Joe Girardi from starting him again tomorrow at third base? Because we all know the struggles of Chase Headley so far, still looking for his extra base hit. And Torreyes already made a nice play in the field. And Meredith Maragovitz has more.
Well, Michael, I asked Joe that very question. I asked him whether or not Chase Headley can benefit from a couple days off in a row. And he said right now the plan is for him to be in the game tomorrow, the first game of the Boston series. He said he will definitely play against David Price. He went on to ask him whether or not Torreyes keeps on hitting and Headley continues to struggle, if he's going to force his hand a little bit to play Torreyes a little bit more there at third base. And Joe Girardi said, I'm not thinking of it that way right now. Right now, Chase Headley is my third baseman. I'm still confident he's going to turn things around.
Well, Torreyes just breaks it back, gets another piece of lumber.
He also hit that foul ball off his foot, so it gives him a little bit of time to recover here as he gets another bat. Oof, right off the shin.
Ball that's caught by Scope. How did he get there? Just snatched it out of the air. Looked like it was ticketed to the outfield. Nice play by Scope to take a hit away from Torreyes.
Yeah, you also saw second base umpire Alfonso Marquez trying to scramble to get out of the way. But Scope will flag it down. Torreyes did everything right except not get it far enough away from Scope, who makes a nice running catch. Reaches out and hauls it in.
Gausman likes what he sees. Why wouldn't he? Here's Ellsbury now. Back to the top of the lineup. Jacoby is 0 for 2 tonight. .95-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1. Both pitchers' pitch counts in great shape. Working quickly, economically, the 0-1. 1-1. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. Or did he? Says 1 and 2 on the board.
Yeah, I think the home plate umpire called it himself.
Without even looking, okay.
Yeah. And let's see if, yeah, he was right if he called this a strike. Yep, he did.
Fly ball, right center. Adam Jones is there. 2 outs.
Now, last time up, Castro jumped on the first pitch. It was a fastball. He was leading off the inning and had a double. The Yankees missed an opportunity back in the fourth when that leadoff doubles. Castro got as far as third base, but didn't score. The reason I point that out, let's see, with 2 outs and nobody on, if Gausman's thinking about something else to feature on the first pitch. Well, fastball away. Oh, they've changed it. He wants something else. Fastball in.
1-1. Two. Good stuff by Gausman today.
Yeah, went to like a breaking ball with a splitter.
Gausman was actually a high school teammate with Greg Bird of the Yankees. And Bird was a catcher back then. 2 years younger than Gausman, and he caught him in high school. Both from Colorado.
So you're saying he helped get Gausman to Louisiana State?
Could be.
We hope that Greg Bird is progressing well in his rehab, shoulder surgery.
Bad break for him.
Yeah.
The 1-2 is fouled away. Because right now, the way it stands, you look at him as the first baseman next year. At least that was the plan. They hope that he'd be playing in the minors this year. Mark Teixeira's in the final year of his contract, but he has said in spring training he wants to play 4 more years. Will those years be with the Yankees? That's a decision that has to be made. But the Yankees do hope that Bird is ready. A 1-2. Swing and a miss. And Gausman, since the Castro double in the fourth, has retired 9 in a row. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The Yankees are back home in the Bronx for a rematch of last weekend's battle with the rival Red Sox. Coverage starts at 6 with Audi batting practice today in the Chevy pregame. Then Paul O'Neill joins Kenny and me for the call, only on Yes and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And these are the pitching matchups. Rick Porcello against Michael Pineda tomorrow. David Price and Eovaldi on Saturday. Stephen Wright against Luis Severino on Sunday night. Adam Jones takes low. Jones is 1 for 2 tonight. It's a 0-0 game. It'll be Jones, Davis, and Trumbo. Jones is really the de facto leader in the clubhouse. And players listen to him. They respect him. And he said the reason he likes Manny Machado, although he's young, he said, when I talk, he shuts up. There's a strike, 3-1. Showalter raves about Jones and the way he carries himself, and he sets a template for the rest of the team. High pop-up on the left side. Gregorius is there, and he'll make the play.
Oh, when Jones first came to the club, he had a habit of not running all that hard to first base. And if you remember correctly, Michael, one night after a game, Buck Showalter told somebody, save that piece of tape for me of Jones running to first. And Buck called him in the office after the game, played it for me. He says, "This is the way you want to play?" And Jones got the message. From that point on, he's been pretty much of a hustler down the first baseline.
It's Chris Davis. Swing and a miss.
Sometimes, you don't even know it when you're doing it, but when you see it.
He said, you have to make a decision. Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to be great? He said, because if you want to be great, you can't be great that way.
And now he's a 4-time All-Star. And he is also second in the amount of home runs hit in this ballpark. Only Rafael Palmeiro hit more.
1-2. They shift for Davis. 3 infielders right side. 1-2 count on the big first baseman. Tanaka deals. Swing and a miss, and Davis is down on strikes.
Looked like it was another splitter. This pitch is starting to pick up momentum. You can see the split finger grip and the dip at the end. That wasn't a particularly good one because it stayed in the middle of the plate, but Tanaka got away with it because of the movement. And it picks up his 4th strikeout and his 3rd in the last inning and 2/3.
Here's Trumbo, 0 for 2, strikeout and a ground ball to 3rd. Grounded foul. If you joined us late, Joe Girardi has been ejected from the game. He was arguing with third base umpire Chris Guccione about what looked like he felt was a balk by Kevin Gausman with Castro at 3rd. Didn't come to a long enough set at the belt. And Guccione let him have his say for a while and then finally tossed him, and then Joe really had a say on the field.
Well, you're supposed to have a pronounced stop. Take a beat before you deliver.
Line drive right at DD, and that'll do it. 7 in a row retired by Tanaka. We go to the 7th, still searching for a run.
Joe Girardi tossed out of this ball game tonight. It's 4th inning. Remember, Starlin Castro's at third. We believe these last 2 pitches are the ones that got him upset. There has to be a stop, and Joe feels it was not long enough before the delivery. He's working from the stretch, and you have to have a pronounced stop. Can't be continuous movement before delivery to the plate. And right after that, Joe started in with Chris Guccione because he's the umpire, had the best look at third base. And Joe wants to know what's the deal. He's got to stop.
0-0 as we go to the 7th. Brian McCann leads off.
And right now you can see with Gausman working out of the windup, it's very close. As we look at our GMC scoreboard, no score. It's almost the same. He doesn't have to stop now because there's nobody on base. But Joe thought there was not enough of a stop with Castro at third. Kind of works out of the same side saddle delivery.
Rip foul. McCann, Teixeira, and Beltran here in the 7th.
This game might be balling down to a 1 swing of the bat game.
McCann's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to center. 2-2. Driven out to center field. Deep. Going back is Jones. He has room. He'll make the play. 1 away.
Yeah, McCann picked on the furthest part of the ballpark, just to the left of straightaway center field. It's 410 out that way.
Here's Mark Teixeira with a fly ball to center and a ground ball to first. Pitch up and away, 1-0.
And Teixeira had it just missed his first time. Got underneath one and still sent it to fairly deep center field. When you're thinking of a 1 swing of the bat game, if you're a power hitter, you're trying to get in the situation that Mark Teixeira is now. 2 balls and no strikes. Pick something you like and put your best swing on it.
There's a strike. 2-1 on Teixeira. That one is lined to center field. It's a base hit. Teixeira grew up coming to Oriole games, but the picture that hung over his bed in his bedroom as a kid was Don Mattingly. That was the player that he modeled himself after and he looked up to and thought that's a ball player, and he felt like that even as a kid.
Couldn't argue with him, could you?
County baseball.
Yeah.
Here's Carlos Beltran. He is 0 for 2. Fly ball to left and a pop up to Chris Davis.
Teixeira grew up about a half hour or so south of here, Anne Arundel County, Severna Park, Maryland. Gausman starting to fall behind some hitters here.
The 2-0. Grounded right side. There's 1. And there's 2. So a 5-6-3 double play, as Flaherty is the one that started the double play. He was playing on the right side in a shift. Time for the 7th inning stretch in Baltimore.
Of course, he'll be along on the post-game show with Meredith Marakovitz. We got a good one going here in Baltimore. As the 7th inning stretch is just about concluded. And the Orioles are going to send up Matt Wieters to lead it off.
It'll be Wieters, Kim, and Scope against Tanaka. And Wieters swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. Wieters has had 2 hits against Tanaka, both served into left center field.
Old-fashioned pitching duel.
Bunted, back to Tanaka. 1 away. Whole left side was open. He just wanted to get it by Tanaka. He could not do it.
You know, one thing with, I know that was a fairly easy play, but we've mentioned before, Tanaka is an excellent fielder, good all-around athlete, and he doesn't get it by him, and he doesn't have a chance. Looked like Tanaka bobbled it a little bit before he made the throw, but he recovered, threw out Wieters. Wieters trying to get something going, leading off an inning. And that's something I think we should see more of against shifts.
Here's Kim against Tanaka. Two and 0. Grounded foul. Close game like this, it bears noting that Showalter does not have his closer, who is nursing a bad ankle. That's Zach Britton. But they've mixed and matched. They have Darren O'Day if need be. He closed out the first game of this series. Andrew Miller is well rested for the Yankees. And Dylan Betances just worked yesterday, did not work on Tuesday, so he's ready to go today as well.
Just 2/3 of an inning for Betances last night with a strikeout. Kim just got a piece of that. Tanaka 81 pitches. We're in the 7th inning.
Grounded to Didi. 2 down. That's going to bring up Jonathan Schoop. Schoop grounded back to the pitcher and then wrapped into an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play with runners on first and second and 1 out in the 4th.
You know, you just saw Kim come back to the dugout there, and obviously he was upset with himself. But, you know, if he says anything, nobody's going to know what he's saying anyway. So, you know, imagine he hears the other guys coming out to the dugout, and they're usually saying the same things over and over again. So he's going to figure out what to say.
He'll learn.
Yep.
Grounded softly to third, but a kicks foul, grabbed by Torres, and he'll make a fan.
Now there is his interpreter, and that gives him somebody to talk to. But you imagine, totally different culture. You don't understand what the people are talking about. You really have to rely on your interpreter for just about everything.
It really is quite an adjustment.
Yeah. You think of when, I think back to when Hideki Matsui came and Hideki Irabu came from Japan. And for them, especially Matsui, I mean, he became a star player. And to do it under those circumstances, that shows you what type of player he was in person.
Lined into left center field. It is a base hit for Schoop. Ellsbury fields and gets the ball in.
Schoop's had an 8-game hitting streak. That's his 8th consecutive game with a hit. But I wouldn't really say he's red hot. He's had 1 hit in each game. And this will keep his streak going tonight.
You know, I feel for the Latin players that come from Latin American countries, especially when they go to the minor leagues. I mean, Mariano Rivera's told me stories that he used to just go to restaurants that had pictures of food on the menu so he could point at what he wanted. That's why he was so motivated to learn the language. There's Pedro Alvarez. But you're hoping that if you're a Latin American player that there's going to be other Latin American players on the team that you could have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, that's true. And plus, you know, Spanish is a second language in this country, so you don't be hurting for people to speak to on the streets. And of course there's Korean neighborhoods and Japanese neighborhoods where you can go.
1-0. Grounded foul. 1-1.
And Dennis Martinez told me a story when he was in the minor leagues. He didn't speak any English. And one night he's pitching a pretty good game, and the manager comes out to talk to him, to check on him, and he asked him, is he tired? And Dennis said, yeah. The manager asked him again. He said, yeah, took him out of the game. Well, the bullpen blew his lead, and Dennis said, from that point on, I'm going to learn English. He didn't understand what his manager was trying to ask him.
One. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
Tanaka's getting a number of swings and misses tonight. We told you that he's up there in among the pitchers with the best percentages of swings and misses on his deliveries. He's hoping for one more right here.
And he gets it as Alvarez down on strikes. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. We go to the 8th. It's 0-0. A look at the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore. The Yes Network. Comcast customers will miss the entire Yankee season on Yes. There are other TV providers that carry Yes, including DirecTV, Frontier, PlayStation Vue, Fios, and Sling TV. Don't miss any Yankees game on Yes. For more information, go to keepyesnetwork.com. Dustin Ackley leads off and takes upstairs from Kevin Gausman. We go to the 8th. It's 0-0. Ackley, Hicks, and Gregorius. Grounded, right to Scope. One away. On the Hyundai scoreboard, it's 0-0. No action in the Yankee bullpen, so Tanaka will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning.
The Yankees have never had more than one man on base in an inning in any of these innings. The Orioles were able to put 2 men on in 1 inning. Pitchers have been in the driver's seat.
Aaron Hicks batting 7th and playing left tonight. Had a single up the middle and a fly ball to center. A strike to Hicks. Two and one. So the Yankees score 1 run in the first game. They exploded for 7 yesterday. And now 0s on the board here in the 8th. He's got to give Gausman credit too. He's pitched very well. Pulled the string there, and Hicks way out in front, 2-2. See, Dylan Betances is getting loose. And the 2-2. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. It's starting to rain here in Baltimore, as Hicks goes down swinging.
Fourth strikeout. And once again, there's that little split that Gausman will throw, uses it as a changeup. And Hicks swings through it.
Here's Gregorius. You don't really see that many great pitchers duels anymore. And you have to really appreciate the art of pitching to see how great it is. And both pitchers are just pitching wonderfully. And one team obviously has to lose tonight. It's going to be a tough loss because their starter really gave them what they needed. A lot of people look at baseball and say it's got to be a 10-9 game to be exciting. But a game like this, in its simplicity and purity, is great in its own way. 2-0.
The fans who love pitching and good pitching efforts, they're seeing it from both pitchers tonight. And it's just a matter of who's going to blink first. It's been a tough night for the hitters to string anything together. That's why I said it's probably going to boil down to a one swing of the bat game. Pitcher makes a mistake and somebody hits it out of the ballpark. Gausman still got plenty on his fastball, 95 miles an hour on them.
Came in with a 2.45 ERA. That's going down. The 2-2. Grounded back to Gausman. Underhands. And the Yankees go down in order 1, 2, 3, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Nothing. This replay brought to you by New York Presbyterian, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Amazing things are happening here.
Yeah, a lot of pitches working for Tanaka. Good slider, strikes out Trumbo. Alvarez is gone on a splitter. This is Flaherty, another splitter. Chris Davis, another one. That wasn't such a good one. And a high cutter strikes out Alvarez again. 5 strikeouts for Tanaka, just 1 walk.
So 90 pitches for Tanaka. And Ryan Flaherty leads off. And a strike. Hyundai scoreboard, 0-0. Flaherty, Machado, and Jones, 9-1 and 2 against Tanaka.
Good two-seam fastball. Swept over the plate. Once again, Tanaka ahead on the count. A lot of movement on that one.
Missed upstairs, 1-2.
Just a little.
Now 2-2. I think with Tanaka, they're going batter by batter here, as you have Barbado and Betances up. Strike 3. Flaherty down looking.
6 strikeout with the first one called. Tanaka with the elongated windup.
Like he stumbled a little bit.
Yeah, he might have. As he was bringing his left leg around, looked like a spike might have caught or something, but he still picks up the strikeout.
Here's Manny Machado, 0 for 3 against Tanaka. Fly ball to center, fly ball to right, ground ball to Teixeira. Skied the other way and out of play. Biggest crowd at the 3, 19,598 here at Camden Yards. Hardy fans. Chilly night.
If they're Hardy fans, he's not here tonight.
Nice. Got a broken foot. Grounded to short. Nice play by Gregorius. Does a 360 and fires to first. 2 down. Hot shot grabbed by the Yankee shortstop.
Yeah. Pitchers love that defense. And like I said, Tanaka's been around long enough. He knows what to say. Probably good job or something along those lines. Stays with it, knows he has plenty of time. The ball was hit hard and guns it across for out number 2.
And that'll bring up Adam Jones. Jones has one of the Orioles' 5 hits. A single to short. Gregorius made a nice play in the hole on it. Off balance throw to first. But they could not get Jones, who beat it out by an eyelash. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Sweeping slider.
Torres is deep at third and close to the line for the righty swinging Jones.
Well, he's guarding against an extra base hit. He does not want a ball go down the line to his right.
Chase Headley getting ready for a possible pinch hit appearance. 100 pitches for Tanaka. Here's 101. Now it's 2-2.
I mentioned this last night, but Jones, when he gets 2 strike, very aggressive hitter. And he's always been maybe not as bad as he used to be. He's He's swinging at that slider down and away that breaks out of the strike zone. Looks like it's going to be a strike. He swung at one already in this at bat. Let's see what Brian McCann has in store for him.
Swing and a miss. 8 outstanding innings from Masahiro Tanaka. 7 strikeouts. He's held the Orioles scoreless. We go to the 9th. 0-0. Well, those were the thrilling moments of the game, brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi is giving you a chance to earn your pinstripes. Visit Yankees.com/Pepsi Pinstripes for more details. So it's been all about the pitching. Each starter with 8 shutout innings. Gausman 3 hits. Tanaka gave up 5. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Gausman did not walk a batter and struck out 4, and he turns it over to the Orioles closer, Darren O'Day. And for Tanaka, that's the end of his night, as he gets congratulations in the Yankee dugout. So this game is going to be decided out of the bullpen. Chase Headley pinch hitting for Ronald Torreyes against Darren O'Day. Swings at the first pitch and grounds it to Scope. 1 pitch, 1 out.
That was Headley's first pinch hit at bat of the season. O'Day having another good year. Re-signed with the Orioles. A lot of people thought he was gone at the end of last year. Became a free agent, but re-signed.
Here's Ellsbury.
And you can see by the way O'Day delivers the ball, he's can be very tough on right-handed hitters. In his 9-year career, he's only given up 4 home runs to a right-handed batter with men on base. And one happened this year. Was Todd Frazier, the White Sox, who got him. And the other 3 were all the same guy, Jose Bautista. And here's the delivery we're talking about. It looks like he's fallen out of a tree or out of a window. And here comes the baseball.
One and 2 on Ellsbury. Nothing in the 9th.
Oh.
Zach Britton's up. Maybe the ankle is feeling better. They said it's a day-to-day proposition. One, two. Foul back. Ellsbury 0 for 3 against Gausman. And the 1-2. High, 2-2. Popped up. But that'll make the seats over the Orioles dugout. Still 2-2.
Ellsbury had a pretty good rip at that one. Let's see where it. A little easier to see from the left-hand side of the plate. This ball was a little further out over the plate. Ellsbury might have been able to extend his arms a little better.
Two. Swing and a foul ball. So a taut game and the rubber game of this 3-game set. Missed outside. 3-2. Tough at bat. Put together by Ellsbury. Trying to get on base. Castro's due up next. This is a 9th pitch of the at-bat. Strike 3. Ellsbury down looking.
Well, O'Day, this might have been the only breaking ball in the 9 pitches. And, man, it just got the corner. Not much you can do about this. Yeah, it clipped it. Went to the bottom of the barrel, reached out for a breaking ball, and got a call strike 3 in a good location.
Here's Castro. He faced O'Day on Tuesday. Had a fly ball to left. Castro's 1 for 3. 1-0. Castro with a ground ball to short, a double to left, and then a strikeout in the 6th inning. On deck, McCann. If it gets to McCann, that's when you might see Britton. So now you have Miller and Betances up. One will pitch in the tie game. One would pitch if the Yankees get the lead.
You got to figure Buck Showalter would not have Britton up unless he felt he was 100%. That's when a player has to be honest with his manager.
Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. So Castro keeps the inning alive and now will force Showalter's hand with McCann due up. And here comes Buck as he calls for the left-hander Zach Britton. So it'll be Britton against McCann in a scoreless game in the 9th inning. Stick around. Okay, he's been dealing with a bum ankle, and Buck Showalter calls at him. The pitch here with 2 outs in the 9th inning and a runner on first base, and Brian McCann due up.
It's the Orioles all-star closer. You can see 6 for 6 and save opportunities. He injured his ankle in the most recent series against the Chicago White Sox on a bunt play. I think it was Adam Eaton who bunted the ball, and Zach jammed his ankle, and they thought he would miss this whole series. This is a pitcher who throws like a mid-90s sinker. Tough to hit the ball in the air.
McCann will try. He is 0 for 3. Strikeout, 2 fly balls to Jones in center. Britton deals. And that one gets away from Wieters. Doesn't know where it is. Finally locates it as Castro moves to second. Now you could think smaller, as you could take the lead on a single in all likelihood.
Yeah, there's ball breaks off of Wieters' glove. I believe it might have caught the home plate umpire David Rackley. And Wieters kind of looking around for it. It's back near the screen. And you can see Castro will move into scoring position. It's also going to move the Oriole outfielders up a bit. 80% of the balls hit against Britton or put in play or on the ground.
Two 2-0. McCann 3 for 9 with a ribby against Britton. And the 2-0. 3-0. On deck is Teixeira.
One thing you see here, there's no shift. Just shading by Machado towards the middle. Usually you see him when McCann's up over on this side. I don't think they want to give McCann a chance to just shoot one to the opposite field.
Turned him loose on 3-0 and he grounds it foul.
I think they were thinking back to last night when he drove in 3 runs.
And the 3-1. 3-2. Throw to second, and he's out. Oh, a base running blunder by Castro. Wieters guns him down at second, and that'll take us to the bottom of the 9th. He strayed too far, and the throw to Machado and the quick tag, and Castro, incredibly, is picked off of second base. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Is the go-ahead run in the 9th inning to be picked off of second base.
Yeah, well, this is how it happened. It looks as though he sees McCann swing. He's trying to get off to a good jump, on anything put in play with 2 outs, and he gets out there too far. Wieters recognizes it right away and throws a strike to second base, and the Yankees have a missed opportunity. You can see on the swing, trying to get a good jump way out too far, and Machado's right there to apply the tag.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think he took a step toward third on the swing, which put him more in danger. Dellin Betances, his 14th game this year, 25 strikeouts in 12 1/3. He had a pitch yesterday in a 7-0 game because Kirby Yates loaded the bases with 1 out in the 8th inning, and he came on, he struck out Davis looking, and got Trumbo to foul out to third. And then Chasen Shreve pitched the 9th and retired the Orioles in order. So the Yankees are hoping for extra innings now. And Betances is going to have to face the heart of the order, 3, 4, and 5, Davis, Trumbo, and Wieters. Davis is 0 for 3. Swing and a miss. 1 hit in 8 at-bats lifetime against Betances.
Yeah, Betances struck him out on 3 pitches last night, and he looked at every single one of them.
There's a strike. One and 2. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. 0-0. Did he go? Yes, he did. Davis is down on strikes.
Yeah, he did. Good job by McCann coming up the pitch out of the dirt and applies the tag for the putout. So to go as a strikeout, 2 unassisted.
And that'll bring up Trumbo. Trumbo is 0 for 3. Struck out, grounded to third, and lined out to Gregorius. Breaking ball away, 1-0. Trumbo has faced Betances 3 times, has a hit.
That was nasty.
One. 2-1 on Trumbo.
97.
The 2-1. Like he stumbled off the mound a bit after delivering that pitch. Now doing some housekeeping.
Here's what Michael's talking about. Yep, just
might have turned his ankle.
Looks like he's okay.
Wieters on deck. And Trumbo works a walk, and that puts the winning run on base. Stick around after the final out for the WB Mason postgame. Get a complete recap of this clash at Camden Yards. Plus, see highlights and scores from around the league. All that and more coming up on the WB Mason postgame only on, yes, Joey Rickard pinch runs for Trumbo. The Orioles might try to run on Betances, who's 6'8", and takes a little bit to uncoil and deliver to the plate.
Ooh.
Almost threw that away from Teixeira.
Good job by Tex flagging this one down. Rickard has 1 steal. He hasn't been caught.
High fly ball, right field. Ackley back on the track, at the wall, leaps, and he makes the play. He'll fire to first, and he'll get the double play to end the inning. What a play by Dustin Ackley. He turns it into a 9-3 double play. And Mark Teixeira goes all the way to second base to tag out Rickard for some reason. Now Buck Showalter's saying they want to take a look at that.
They want to make sure the ball didn't hit the wall and then go into the glove. That's a heck of a play by Ackley. Let's see, we get a closer look than anybody had from either dugout. He's up.
I made it. I think he made the catch.
Yeah. Can we slow it down? He had the leathers between the.
Now you see the ripple on the hot dog ad.
Yeah.
They saw that, but it was his glove that hit against it. I think that was a good play, but they're going to take a look. I think that they'll see that's an inning-ending double play.
Yeah, the glove is between the. Well, good leap. Heck of a play by Ackley in right field. Almost came down with a little mustard. Wieters didn't think he got it. Now, he's played here long enough to know what a home run feels like in this ballpark. He's thinking the ball might have hit the wall.
They definitely saw the ripple because it's kind of a stretched out ad. It's not hard. So when the glove hit up against the ad, you could see the ripple. So the Yankees are just waiting now till it's confirmed in New York. And they're showing it on the board now in center field. And that replay they just saw in center field looks like it convinced the Yankees they're heading closer to their dugout. And Teixeira tagged him out in case it was caught off the wall. But he was on second anyway, so I don't know what that tag is all about.
Yeah, Rickard's not sure which way to go. He's just going to step on the closest base. Yeah, he's out. Great play by Ackley.
What a play by Dustin Ackley. Takes away an extra base hit and turns it into 2 outs. And you know what else it does? It gives us free baseball. Bonus Cantos. We go to the 10th. 0-0 on yes. Catch a newly updated episode of Yankeeography Bernie Williams and relive the beloved center fielder's career in pinstripes. Plus, see special footage from Bernie Williams Day at the stadium last season and get personal reflections from the man himself. That's tomorrow at 11 after Yankees Red Sox coverage right here on Yes. So still a buzz in the crowd here over that play by Dustin Ackley as we go to the 10th inning. Brian McCann was at the plate against Zach Britton when Sterling Castro got picked off second to end the top of the 9th inning. So he gets a fresh count against Britton. Breaking ball is low, 1-0. New right fielder for the O's, it's Joey Rickard, who had pinch run for Trumbo. Two and 0.
I mentioned that Britton is hard to hit the ball in the air against him. Although I believe it was last year that he got walked off by Carlos Beltran in the Bronx.
That long fly ball by Wieters was flirting with the 4th home run on this road trip against Dylan Betances, but didn't have enough. He knew it didn't have enough when he swung. So McCann works a 4-pitch walk here in the 10th inning. Now the Yankees have Ben Gamble and they have Brett Gardner, and they're going to send Gardner out to pinch run for McCann. Now let's see if they want Gardner to run, or they just hope he can score on a double, because you know Mark Teixeira is not bunting here.
And you see Ryan Flaherty even with the bag at third. That might be a mistake.
In 8 years, have you ever seen him bunt? I can't recall.
No, I don't think there's any video proof of it either. If there is, Mike Medman would find it.
Six straight out of the strike zone by Britton. Teixeira has 2 hits and 6 at-bats lifetime against Britton. Three for 4 in stolen bases this year. There's a strike, clipped the inside corner, 2-1. Two-1. 2-2. 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right over the top.
Three and 2. Do you, Kenny? Send him?
Yeah, I think I would.
On deck is Beltran.
Britton's thinking the same thing. We talked about Britton being able to get the ground ball. That's one way to stay out of the double play. If Teixeira hits the ball on the ground.
Does not go. And they're lucky he didn't, as Teixeira swings and misses. It would have been a strike him out, throw him out double play, because Gardner cannot get that good of a jump against the lefty.
That was a pretty good pitch to hit. It was towards the middle of the plate, and Teixeira once again swings over it.
And that'll bring up Beltran. Beltran's 0 for 3 tonight. Fly ball to left, pop up to first, and a 5-6-3 double play. Switch hitter batting from the right side against the lefty Britton. Playing catch with Davis. We're in the 10th inning. It's been all about the pitchers tonight, but somebody has to score. 0-0. Now, since Betances can't pitch tomorrow, because Joe never uses a reliever 3 days in a row, if there is, well, there's definitely going to be a bottom of the 10th inning, but if it's 0-0, he might pitch the bottom of the 10th inning since it's not available tomorrow anyway. Miller's ready in case they take a lead. 0-2.
Barbados up, and he's talking to bullpen coach Mike Harkey.
Well, Barbados up. Maybe he'll pitch the bottom of the 10th, and although Betances is still sitting in the Yankee dugout. The 0-2. Dialed that up to 96 miles an hour.
The pitch that Beltran hit off Britton in Yankee Stadium was up around his letters, maybe even a little higher. I don't know how he got on top of it. Britton rarely throws a fastball that far upstairs.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Beltran strikes out for the second out, and Wieters goes out and talks with Britton, as that'll bring up Dustin Ackley.
That looked like a slider. Breaking in on the hands and the swing and a miss. You see Wieters duck out of the way. Didn't want to get hit by the backswing.
So a strikeout of Teixeira, strikeout of Beltran, and now it'll be the lefty Ackley against the lefty Britton. He has 1 hit in 4 at-bats in his career against Britton. Yankees have 4 hits and the Orioles have 5. We're in the 10th inning, 0-0. Ackley made a great play in the bottom of the 9th inning. That played a big role in there being extra innings, turning a long drive against the wall by Wieters into a 9-3 double play to end the inning. The 0-1. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Guccione. And it's 0-2.
Tried to hold up, couldn't do so.
Runner goes, and the pitch gets away from Wieters, but Gardner didn't pick it up right away and slid head first. He gets a stolen base.
I guessed right. Britton was going to home plate. Gardner sold out right away. He was on his move, on the move. Ball breaks off the glove. Weeder's trying to come up quickly. And Gardner's going to be safe.
So a stolen base for Gardner. So he's in scoring position. And a 1-2 count on Ackley. Swing and a miss. Ackley down on strikes. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Nothing. Back home in the Bronx for a rematch of last weekend's battle with the rival Red Sox. Coverage starts at 6 with Addy batting practice today, and then the Chevy pregame. Then Paul O'Neill joins Kenny and me for the call, only on Yes and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Yankees have a new battery. Johnny Barbado is the new pitcher, taking over for Betances, and he'll be throwing to Austin Romine.
The impressive number to the 15 strikeouts in 12 innings. He had one rough outing. That's why his ERA is up there quite a bit.
Bottom of the 10th inning. Great job by the starters. 8 shutout innings for Gausman and Tanaka. Hyun-Soo Kim will lead off against Barbado. Kim's 0 for 2 with a walk. And a strike. High chop, a Baltimore chop. Can't make the play. Kim reaches.
It would have been a tough play at first base anyway, kind of bang bang, but Didi gave it his best shot, tried to barehand it and make the throw all in one play. Kim getting down the line the best way that he can. Yeah, I believe if he barehands it, he's got to play. But he was unable to come up with it, and Kim's going to have himself an infield single. Let's see how the Orioles play it from here. Headley's even with the bag at third. Orioles do not bunt very often. They don't steal very often either.
Scope takes a fastball strike. Scope's 1 for 3.
Orioles had the fewest stolen bases in the league, just 4, and they've been caught 3 times. And no sacrifice bunts.
Foul back. 0-2. Barbado deals. Line drive, a base hit to left center field. Kim rounds second. He's going to third. And the throw comes into Gregorius. And the Orioles are set up. First and third, and nobody out in the bottom of the 10th.
Well, this is going to force, after this base hit, it's going to force the Yankees to bring the infield in and the outfield in. A decent fly ball would probably score Kim from third anyway. And you can see Robbie Thompson telling the outfielders to come in shallow.
Now it looks like they're stalling. They might want to get, I think that's Shreve warming up out there, or did they get Andrew Miller up? There's a lefty up for sure, and
that's Miller.
All right, so they might be going to Miller here. Reimold pinch runs at third base for Kim.
There are two lefties scheduled. And here comes Robbie Thompson to the mound. And you can see the outfield is very, very close. What they need, yep, they need a new pitcher. They need some strikeouts.
So Andrew Miller will come on. They'll try to get out of a first and third. Nobody out jam, bottom of the 10th. Wiggle out of this first and third. Nobody out, bottom of the 10th, nothing game. And their closer, Andrew Miller, has not walked the batter, struck out 16 in 10 innings. Last time we saw him was on Sunday in Boston against the Red Sox. So he's certainly well rested. And he's going to need to be to get out of this.
Well, he's got two lefties coming up, and prior to Miller coming in the game, Buck Showalter decided to run Nolan Reimold, the right-handed hitter, for Kim. So that might have been a chance for him to pinch hit for somebody with a right-handed hitter. But instead, it would have taken some maneuvering.
They only have Caleb Joseph.
Exactly. And he's the backup catcher, and you don't want to use him unless you really have to.
All right, so the infield in as the outfield is way in. Now Hicks plays a little deeper because he has the best arm of the three. swing and a miss.
The Yankees are thinking strikeouts here.
Miller does not usually come in with runners on base. He comes in to pitch the 9th inning and get a save, so a lot of pressure right off the bat. Fly ball, center field. Ellsbury will make the catch. Tagging is Reimold, and the throw is not in time, and the Orioles win 1-0. Pedro Alvarez with a sac fly, and the Yankees lose an absolute heartbreaker and waste a great pitching performance by Masahiro Tanaka. Just an awful road trip for the Yankees, and it ends in that fashion as they win 2 and they lose 7 on a 3-city, 9-game tour.
Well, Miller came back with another breaking ball, but Alvarez got enough of it. This is only about medium center field, but deep enough to score Reimold, who has pretty good speed. And that's it. There's your ball game. 1-0. Alvarez is thinking deep, 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 go, go, go. And now he's watching Reimold score the winning run.
So he gets the RBI. The Orioles take 2 out of 3, and the Yankees head home to start a 3-game set with the Red Sox tomorrow. We go back to the studio where Bob and Jack will try to explain things.